A day in my life as an English teacher. Hello, my friends. Today I want to tell you about my ordinary and at the same time a little unusual day. I'm Mark, I'm 27 years old, and I'm an English teacher in a secondary school. Many people think a teacher's day is boring. Wake up, go to class, teach, come home. Repeat. But actually, every day is different, even when the schedule looks the same. I woke up this morning at 6:15. The alarm clock was not kind. The loud beeping pulled me out of a very nice dream. I stretched, sat on the edge of my bed, and thought, "Okay, Mark, another day, let's go." Outside my window, the city was still half asleep. The sky was gray, the streets were quiet, and only a few cars passed by. I made my bed, yes, I really do it every morning, and went to the kitchen. Breakfast for me is important. I always tell my students, eat before class. Your brain needs fuel. Today, I had scrambled eggs, 2 slices of toast, and a cup of strong black coffee. While eating, I quickly checked my phone. Emails from parents, a couple of messages from friends, and one reminder. Don't forget to print the quiz for Class 7B. Right, that's my mission before 8 a.m. I left home at 7 a.m. The air was fresh, but the clouds promised rain. The walk to the bus stop took only 5 minutes, but I already met 2 of my students. "Good morning, Mr. Mark," they shouted from across the street. I waved and smiled. It's always nice when kids greet you outside of school. I took the bus, found a seat near the window, put on my headphones, and listened to a podcast about teaching techniques. Sometimes this is the calmest part of my day. Just me, the city, and my coffee in a travel mug. I arrived at school at 7:30. The building was still quiet. Only the cleaning lady, Mrs. Green, was in the hallway. She smiled and said, "Morning, dear. Rain is coming." I nodded. She is always right about the weather. I went straight to the teacher's room, put my bag down, and turned on the printer. The quiz for 7B started printing, and I quickly reviewed my lesson plan for the day. My first class was at 8:15. It was Class 6A, energetic, talkative, and always hungry for games. Today's topic was past simple versus present perfect. We played a game called Find Someone Who. The students walked around asking questions like, "Have you ever eaten sushi?" Or "Did you go to the park last weekend?" The classroom was full of laughter and movement. At the end, I gave them a small homework task, and one student said, "Mr. Mark, can you make the homework more fun?" Challenge accepted. I'll think of something. Between classes, I had 10 minutes to prepare for the next group. I drank water, answered 2 emails, and then the bell rang. Here came Class 7B, the quiz group. They were less talkative than 6A, but more competitive. I handed out the papers, and silence fell. The only sounds were pens scratching on paper and the rain starting outside. When the quiz ended, I collected the papers, and one student whispered, "That was hard." I smiled and said, "That means you learned something." At 10:30, It was time for the teacher's coffee break. We gathered in the staff room. Some teachers talked about lesson plans, others discussed TV shows. I made myself another cup of coffee and ate a banana. The math teacher told a funny story about a student who accidentally called her mom during class. We all laughed. It happens more often than you think. The next 2 hours passed quickly. Class 8C with a discussion about travel dreams, and Class 5B where we sang a simple English song together. The younger students love singing, and they sing loudly. My ears were still ringing when the lunch bell rang. Lunch was in the school cafeteria. Today's menu: tomato soup, pasta with chicken, and an apple. I sat with 2 other teachers and we talked about the upcoming school trip. I'll be one of the chaperones, which means 3 days with 40 teenagers in another city. It will be fun and exhausting. After lunch, I had one more lesson, Class 9A. They're teenagers, smart, but sometimes a little too smart. Today, we had a debate. Is social media good or bad for teenagers? The arguments were strong on both sides, and I was impressed. One student said, "Social media is like chocolate, nice in small amounts, but bad if you eat too much." That's wisdom right there. At 4 p.m., the teaching part of my day was done, but my work was not over. I stayed in the classroom to grade the 7B quizzes. Some answers made me smile. One student wrote, "I have never saw snow, but I saw in my dream." I know what they meant, and I'll correct it gently. By 4 p.m., I finally packed my bag and left school. The rain had stopped, and the sun was breaking through the clouds. I decided to walk home instead of taking the bus. On the way, I bought some bread and milk from the local shop. The shopkeeper asked, "How was school today?" I answered, "Good, busy, but good." When I got home, I changed into comfortable clothes and made tea. I sat by the window, opened my laptop, and prepared tomorrow's lessons. Planning takes time, but it's worth it when students enjoy the activities. By 7 p.m., I was done with work. Dinner was simple, pasta leftovers from yesterday. While eating, I watched an episode of my favorite series. After that, I read a few chapters of a book about positive classroom management. Yes, I'm a teacher even in my free time, but I like it. At 10:30 p.m., I turned off my phone, brushed my teeth, and went to bed. It was a full day, not extraordinary, but satisfying. I know tomorrow will bring new challenges, new lessons, and maybe a few surprises. And honestly, that's what makes my job special. Good night.